Let's go. Creative Fro, what is up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Friday. Cardio Q&A. Ask me anything. I missed yesterday. I had a 9 a.m. appointment, and then I had to do a bunch of stuff. And by the time I was done, it was like 2 o'clock, and I was going to get on, actually. I was like, I'm not going to miss my cardio. And then I was like, maybe I will. I slacked off, guys. What did you think of the snowflakes booing Hulk Hogan? I love Hulk Hogan, man. You're not going to get me booing the Hulkster. Am I watching playoff football this weekend? Maybe. I'm definitely watching UFC tomorrow. So happy that UFC is back. I've been struggling without my UFC. I mean, UFC is my favorite of them all. Grew up loving all sports. Football was my number one. Basketball was my number two. And, I had season tickets to the Jets one year. Went to games every year, no matter what. Went to Knicks games. But as I got older, I got more disappointed with the New York Jets and the play overall in the league. Just doesn't do it for me the way that it used to. Watched some basketball playoffs in prison, which was fun. Something to do in prison, right? But the one thing that I've loved more and more and more as I've gotten older is UFC. UFC, baby. But I'll probably still check out the games. Keith, good morning. Rudra, good morning. Kathleen Gata, am I saying it right? So, California is on fire. Pretty crazy. Daniel Pena, good morning. Sad to see all the destruction out there. For all of the liberals out there that hate Donald Trump, I wonder if they're thinking a little differently now about his position on the reservoirs and the water situation out there. They have no water to put the fires out. Poor, poor government. But you know what? I lived out there, guys, in 2011. I moved out to LA, and then I moved down to San Clemente because I hated LA. It's so different out there. It's a different world out there in La La Land. And hey, these are the officials that they elect into office, so whose fault is that? Very sad. A lot of destruction. But for me, guys, I had a shoulder workout today. Very good shoulder workout today. Lots of volume. Got a little thing going on in my neck area back here. But I'll get some treatment on that this afternoon. Going out to dinner with Marissa tonight. A little date night action. Happy about that. Things are going well. What do you guys got for me? We have questions this morning or what? I'm sure my man Bolshoi Kush will be on here soon with some questions. It's been cold down here in Florida this week. Yes, it has. Mark Dog, good morning. How are you, sir? How's training? Nathan, my brother, how are you, man? How are you? Empty bowels, not sure what politicians have to do with wildfires. Well, empty bowels, let me educate you on this a little bit. So, the politicians have a lot of control over where money gets expended. And so, years ago, they talked about the necessary need to focus on reservoirs and dams and way to control the amount of water that they had for future wildfires. And this was ignored. It was talked about by experts a lot. And I know that a lot of you guys don't like Mr. Trump, but 3 years ago, he had a conversation with Gavin Newsom about how important this is to have on reserve for wildfires, but they didn't do it. They didn't listen. And if any of you guys listen to the Joe Rogan podcast before the election, they discussed this on that podcast. Very interesting. They decided to put money into other areas. And now with all the fires that are burning, they don't have water on reserve to put it out. That's part of the reason why the fires are so bad, because there's always going to be fire out there in that type of climate. There's a lot of trees, a lot of wide areas of trees, and there's a lot of underbrush. So the underbrush gets very, very dried up when you get away from the coast, and that climate changes. It gets very, very dried up, and that underbrush catches fire, and this is what spreads fast, is all that underbrush. So, not going in and being on top of this stuff is why this has led to this. So, empty bowls, you're obviously maybe living under a rock or something, perhaps, because California is burning up. The Pacific Palisades is all destroyed. Malibu, really nice places that you really usually don't get burnt up like that, are all burnt up, and it's chaotic out there. So perhaps you haven't seen any of it, but it's devastation, and it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. But it's a weird place out there, guys. It's a weird place out there, California. It's like its own country. It's much, much different. Luke, good morning. What else we got going on here today? On this fine Friday. I apologize for missing yesterday, guys. Anyone who jumped on late, I had a 9 a.m. Usually, 9 a.m. is my spot here. I had a meeting at 9 a.m. that I had to be at. And then right after that, I had to do some work stuff. So I slacked yesterday. First one I missed in a while. Melanie, good morning. Nathan, I agree. It is a lot like, from the looks of it, Hawaii situation, just under-prepared. You have to over-prepare for this kind of stuff because they're going to happen regardless. It's like down here in Florida. We're going to get hurricanes. It's just the way that it is. You can't avoid these things. So you have to know how to prepare for them the right way. You've been watching Lioness and it's pretty good. Somebody else told me that one was good. Maybe I'll have to check it out if anybody else has seen that one. I'm on the final season of Dexter right now. Do you think BBC 157 in capsule form will be equally as effective as injectable? No. Rarely is anything that is in an oral form, unfortunately, is as good as injectable. Because no matter how stable it is, there's a process where the liver attacks it to break it down. That's what the liver does. So although it is orally bioavailable, I've used it orally. And in fact, what I noticed when I was taking it orally is my digestive health seemed great. So it definitely had an effect there. But as far as injuries and pain and whatnot, I didn't really notice too much out of it compared to from an injectable standpoint. Now, maybe if you took a lot, a much higher dose, perhaps. Okay, empty bowls, you have a great day also. But no, typically no, you're gonna have to go the injectable route. I did it for about 3 months orally, guys. Pretty high doses, actually. And I still had a lot of shit bothering me. So I switched to the other way. Let's see, what else do I have going on? Let's see, what else? I don't know, it's been a good week. Training's been good. Sleep's been pretty good. Lots going on. Marissa is 30 weeks pregnant now. That's exciting. Speaking of babies, I saw Chris Luke was in the gym this morning with little Effie. She's actually standing up and walking now, which is crazy. Seems like just yesterday she was a little newborn. Hi, Stephanie. Good morning. She's feeling good. So what she's dealing with now, like this last week or so, I feel so bad for her, is so she's got a really bad acid reflux, terrible acid reflux, to the point where she was taking Tums like every meal. And we changed, her food around, trying to keep her food really basic. So the doctor told her to switch to Pepcid AC. So Pepcid AC, it seemed like it worked. And so I have to really remind her when it comes to supplements and vitamins and stuff like that. So she didn't take it, and the poor thing, she woke up coughing and whatnot, and I guess she had so much acid reflux that she was throwing up. She threw up pretty bad in the bathroom. I felt so bad for her, but it happens when she's sleeping at night. So I told her, I'm just gonna make sure you take this Pepcid AC at the same time every day. Melanie, it means that you're having a hairy baby. I guess at this stage, 30 weeks, they start to shed their body hair that they have in there, which maybe there's the correlation between that and the acid reflux. Very interesting. Little hairy guy. Oh, Happy New Year, barbecue sauce. Happy New Year. I know, barbecue sauce. It's exciting. It's exciting. Did you see that shirt that I had on my story the other day? Everybody was asking me about it. We'll have to get a bunch of those made. But yeah, up until this point, she's been great as far as side effects goes. Her back gets a little bit sore because she's on her feet all day. And she started wearing compression socks because her feet get a little bit swollen. She bought this stool, actually, to sit on now at work because, she does hair all day. So standing in one spot. So she got this stool to sit on that I think will help her out. He was moving all around last night in her stomach. I was able to feel quite a bit, actually, which is really cool. Just Washington, Pepcid AC is great, but have her try brioche. It's an Italian antacid you mix with water. Oh, thank you, USA Washington. Is it pregnancy safe? The doctors are they're very skeptical of taking literally anything when you're pregnant. They don't even want you to take Tylenol anymore, but they do say it's fine to take Tums and Pepcid AC. Greetings, Itchoya. Okay, well, thank you for the recommendation. I'll look into it, USA. I appreciate that. anything that will help Ryoshi. What else you guys got going on for me today? Not a lot of questions in here today. It's just me rambling on, I guess. My weight right now is 233.5. I have, so I need to do a new video, guys, on the Bod Pod scale that I got from Hume Health. I love it. It's so cool. It does so many things. It even tells you how off you are as far as symmetry. Crazy. I was just going through all of it yesterday. There's so much that you can do with it. I'm really, really into it. You can track everything. We're going to see a release of PG Secret Sauce when you get... Maybe, sir, maybe, Luke. How cold is it down here in southern Florida, down in Boca Raton? So, I will tell you, yesterday it was freezing. Yesterday, when I went outside to go to the gym in the morning, it was 46, and with the wind chill, it felt like 34. I think it's come back up a little bit today. It's probably in the 50s, maybe 60 today. Stephanie says, any advice for somebody who's thinking of competing for the first time? Yes, of course, I have plenty of advice as far as competitors go. So the first thing that you should do is read up as much as you can. Find as much literature as you can on competing in the different divisions and what goes into it, right? Really, really look into it and see how exciting it is to you, because don't do anything in life that you're not really excited about. I had met a guy that was bodybuilding and powerlifting, and he loved the powerlifting so much. He didn't really like the bodybuilding, and I was like, well, why are you doing both? Why don't you just go all out in one? And he instead switched out of powerlifting, went into bodybuilding, and he was kind of miserable, right? Then he went back to powerlifting. He was a really good powerlifter. Now, I told him, I go, look, powerlifting is fun. You're training to be strong, and you're going to go into a contest where the rules are pretty damn cut and dry. You lift the weight the right way, more than the guys that you're competing against, you win. That's how it goes. Now, bodybuilding, it's extremely mentally challenging because it's a long, slow, steady process that takes a tremendous amount of willpower and mental toughness. And then when you go through all of this and you've done all your work, you literally turn it all over to 7 complete strangers to decide your fate. And you don't know how qualified a lot of these guys or girls are at the amateur level. You don't know if they're coaching any of the people in the show. You don't know, who they don't know, how long they've been coaching for. You don't know any of these things. But what they're going to do is decide how good you are, break you down, tell you everything that's wrong with you, and it can be very, very psychologically difficult and even damaging. I've seen women that I wished didn't get into competing, get into it, and develop terrible body dysmorphia and low self-esteem. Now, on the flip side, it could go the complete opposite way. So I want you to really, really look into it as much as possible. The type of look that you may want to go with, whether it's bikini or wellness or figure or bodybuilding. And then the next thing you do is you hire a coach that has a good reputation. Not some bodybuilder guy from the gym, not some personal trainer that maybe is a great personal trainer and he, has a great reputation but doesn't train any competitors. You want to get a coach that specifically trains competitors and has a very good reputation. And you want to make sure you have a good rapport with this coach, you like their personality, you feel like they have your best interests involved, then once you get that coach, you do literally exactly what that coach says and no one else. Because once you start competing or training for a show, you're going to be like, wow, so many other people are doing this I didn't realize, because it's like a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and they're going to start asking you what you're doing, telling you what they're doing, and you're going to learn, wow, all of these people are experts, supposedly. The amount of times people told me when I was competing, oh, you should be doing this. Oh, why are you doing this? I'm doing this. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you don't. It's crazy. You'll make yourself go nuts. You'll make yourself go nuts. So the most important thing, once you're locked in, okay, I'm going to do a show, is you pick this coach and you do only what that coach says. And you tell him or her every single thing. You ask as many questions as possible. You don't ever assume anything. Make sure that you guys are on the same page with everything. At all times, if you screw up, if you cheat, tell the truth. Because the more information that you guys go back and forth with, the easier it is to get a good solution. Now, the next thing, very, very important. Do not rush into a show. Don't give yourself, how do I want to say this? You don't want it to be where it's a high pressure situation where you're like, okay, I'm picking this show, it's in 16 weeks. Do or die 16 weeks, do or die 16 weeks. Because there's shows literally every weekend. Depending on where you live, like Florida, there's so many shows. But depending on where you live, there's shows all the time. And you want to make sure you're fully ready and confident. And doing it slow and steady is a lot easier in the long run than having to do this crazy crash diet type thing where you're like, okay, I'm going all out for 12 weeks and getting on stage. So, Luke, I think it's pretty damn accurate. Back to the scale question, it's really neat. And regardless, let's say it's not even 80% accurate, but let's say that it's consistent. Like an in-body scan, it's essentially like having your own in-body scan, right? Although it seems to do more than an in-body scan. People always ask me how accurate do I think the in-body scans are? Well, if you're using the same in-body scan every time, it should be pretty damn accurate because it's calibrating the same way. So you should get consistent results. Now, the thing that's good about having your own thing at home, literally no one is using it but you. So now it keeps a running tab of everything that you do. Nemesis, how can I build my traps like yours? You know, I think my traps, part of it is genetic. They grew a lot from heavy deadlifting, all those years powerlifting when I was young. I think heavy deadlifts and, also rack pulls will build your back more, your traps, from the top all the way into the middle of your back, more than anything else. I didn't do a lot of shrugs and things like that. Sure, I did sometimes when I was young, but I believe it was the heavy deadlifts that did it. I haven't trained my traps in years now. They're almost overpowering because of how jacked up my shoulders are from all the injuries. So Stephanie says, I'm losing my last 4 to 6 pounds before I reverse to build more lean muscle. I'm at about 1,000 calories a day. It's rough, but the right mindset is key. Well, the good news is you got 4 to 6 pounds to go. No big deal. It's not like you got to take 30 pounds off now. You're in the finish line of that phase. And then when you reverse out, like I said, if you do not rush, you'll be able to build your metabolism and build this muscle where your basal metabolic rate, the amount of calorie you burn at rest, gets higher, and you're at a higher starting point. Your coach is a NBC judge, good. So you're in the right spot there, good. Stefan Olsen says, hey PJ, why so puffy? What do you mean? Explain. Be more specific with puffy. Give me another adjective. Let's see. I don't think I've missed anything here. Dogs are here watching, hanging out. It's Friday. Where's Bolshoi? Bolshoi is not on here today, my buddy. Check out that Melissa James Titus movie. Oh, you know what? I'd like to see that. Where is it, Keith? Luke says, trying to figure out how to get to the gym today with a foot of snow. Oh, man, I don't miss snow at all. I don't miss snow at all. Stefan Olsen says, haven't seen you in years since Delray Misfits and Genova. Oh, yeah, I mean, there were some times where I was really ripped in those days. You know, the goal is to get back to that. Yeah, so I don't know how much you know, but I went to prison for 2 years, gained a lot of weight in prison, got up to 280 pounds in prison. Started kind of losing it, though, towards the end. Got out of prison 263, and now I'm down to 233. So still got some work to do. Nathan, I have always wondered, is Bolshoi that quick, or if he's got a computer or something in front of him generating all that stuff, because he fires them out. I've talked about this with Marissa before. We'll never know the truth. I don't think he'll tell us the truth. But I told Marissa, I said, this guy, if he is just doing it off the top of his head, he must be a genius. He must be some sort of genius, some sort of savant to fire things out like that. Oh, it's all good, Stefan. Hey, listen, if you were around from those old days, you know, those fun times, I mean, I was in damn good shape back then. You know, I actually was in pretty good shape when I went to prison. It was we had no weights and terrible food in prison, so it was tough. I appreciate that, though. Talking about questions that reminded me about the Hairdav person back in the day. Oh man, Hairdav was the best. I actually wonder if Hairdav and Bolshoi are the same person. Remember Hairdav? Oh my god. I pat myself in the buns because I'm a music snob, but he is a music question encyclopedia. He is. He is. And I'm pretty good, but he stumps me sometimes. He stumps me sometimes. Oh man, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Love my weekend time. Get to focus on Marissa a little bit more. Questions, guys, Cardo Q&A. I will answer anything that you put out. Let's go. Let's go. What else? I started watching Fallout, and then there's they, them in the first episode. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, so a lot of people told me that Fallout was good. And I watched like most of the first season. I kind of got out of it. Maybe I needed to give it another chance, but it was okay. Nothing special. Training for a competition? No, definitely not. Just training to be healthy, look good, have a lot of energy for my son that's coming in March. Apple TV and Tubi, the movie, didn't care for it much, but yeah, man, and I would love to see that, you know, is it a documentary or is it an actual movie where somebody is playing him? Okay, Luke, you're taking the same as me, man. Now, some of these guys are taking 2,000. I was very sad about the passing of Big Lenny. Stefan, very sad. Do I think cold plunge therapy is bullshit? No. But here's the thing. It depends on what you're actually doing it for. So, I know there's a lot of people that like to do it first thing in the morning. They do it, they cold plunge, and they feel like they're wired. And they go and they train and they have awesome workouts. I've seen some study that suggests that doing a cold plunge like that first thing in the morning is like the equivalent to like blowing a line of cocaine as far as the sensation that you feel. Now, from a recovery standpoint, guys, here's the thing. From a recovery standpoint, as far as muscle soreness, training to be a bodybuilder, the things that we focus on, it is far less beneficial than the sauna, like I have right here. So if you're training really hard and you want to get into recovery so you can keep training hard, the sauna much more beneficial than the cold plunge. Now, it still has its place. Listen, if you're doing it in the morning instead of banging down espressos to get jacked up, well, then that's great. But they actually did some studies that show it's definitely not better for recovery. Stefan, just TRT. I wouldn't trust any of the stuff that's out there now anyway. I think there's a lot of fake shit out there, but all you need is test and some GH. Thank you. Tanya, good morning. Shane says, glad you like Colombia. My wife is Colombian and just got her citizenship a few weeks ago. Hey, congratulations. That's awesome. Listen, I love Colombia. That was one of my favorite places I've ever been. The gyms were so awesome. The food everywhere I went was so good. Even places that were not fancy, just a regular place. The food was such high quality. And, you know, listen, when I went, I was a single man. And, I mean, there were so many beautiful women all over the place. Just beautiful women. Still on contact with Tony Hughes. Yes, I haven't talked to him as much lately. When I first got out of the prison, we were going back and forth quite a bit, you know, just catching up and whatnot. I haven't spoke to him too much lately. Nathan says, I effed my back up last week, but I've been hitting the sauna every night this week, and it's slowly getting back to normal. Yeah, man, the sauna will help. The sauna will help those muscles relax. I went to Medellin. That was where I was for the most of the time I went there. And then I was very short amount of time. And I'm trying to think of what it's called. I think it's called Cartagena. Cartagena. I think it was the first one that I was at. Luke says I got my new blood work back. Oh, okay, good. How long ago was the other blood work versus this one? Is the beach? Yes, yeah. So I was only there for one day. I would have liked to be more time there, Shane. I went to, you know, everything that I had to do. I was there on a business trip, and I tried to do as much as I could outside of the business stuff. So, okay, good. April to now. Okay, that's a nice little gap to see. Hopefully you've got improvements that you're seeing in there. Barabuka says, do you agree that Evan said Devani's basement gym is very cool? Oh, hell yeah. He's got everything you need, man. He's got a perfect setup. How long would Genoa last in the jail you went to? Well, the county jails, man, those places have people even crazier than Genova. I definitely met people crazier than Genova in those first 2 county jails. So the detention center, you're just locked in a room all day. You're locked in a cell for 23 hours a day. So it's not like it's dangerous or anything. You're just, you could potentially go out of your mind with your boredom and your thoughts. At the camp that I was at, he would have been fine in the general population, but he would definitely not have made it in the program that I was in, the RDAP program. He would have got kicked out, definitely. I couldn't see him making it in there. But as far as like the Gen Pop at the camps, it's no big deal. The camp at the base that I was at on the Air Force Base, we were basically like in boot camp. But I mean, the uniform requirements and all that in the program that I was in, I don't even know if he would have been able to handle all that. Any plans for this weekend at the Legion? Yes, Marissa and I are going out to dinner tonight. Excited about that. Tomorrow, UFC. I'm down for that UFC tomorrow. And so I'm relaxing. We like to just take it easy on the weekend. Get that good Saturday morning workout in. And Sunday is really more about rest. I'm at 37 minutes. And heart rate 115, not too bad. Okay, Luke, I'll take a look at him. Shane, Hills Have Eyes or Texas Chainsaw, the remakes roughly around 2006. I love all of the Texas Chainsaws. I love the Jessica Biel. I love the other girl with the nice boobs. Alexandra Daddario. I like there's one that they did recently that I couldn't stop laughing at that one. The guy sticks the chainsaw in the old lady's stomach and lifts her up, and she's like, and she somehow doesn't die and blasts him with a shotgun. So I'm going Texas Chainsaw. I love the Texas Chainsaw movies. Hills Have Eyes are a disturbing movie, though. Also, some of your fans would like to see an alternative leg. Okay. That'll be the next one that I get for you guys then. Tanya says, finally forced myself to take weekends off. Any type of work this past year. And one of the best things I ever did. Good for you, Tanya. Take care of yourself. Take care of that psyche. Take care of that body. Get that rest. Get that rest when you can. Yes, Hills That Have Eyes is an effed up movie. Very, very disturbing movie. The second Hills Have Eyes wasn't very good. What do I have here? Okay, looks like I have an important text message to answer. So do you guys have any more questions for me? I'll stay on a little bit before I jump off and see what this is all about. Otherwise, we'll be back on Monday, fresh. About to hit 40 minutes. But I could definitely shoot another workout for sure. We shot a recovery video this week where a specialist took Chris Luke through all his stretches, which there's certain things here that you guys can do on your own. It's very, very beneficial to do this stuff for your recovery. Don't slack on your recovery. Shane says, no work or gym today. Tons of snow in Georgia. That's no fun. I don't miss the snow, man. I do not miss the snow. When I was like 8, I watched John Carpenter's The Thing, and that dog scene set my bar high. It's funny when you watch something when you're really young, Tanya, that messes you up. I watched Pet Sematary when I was like 8, and it disturbed me so bad. And we actually had a cat that looked like that cat, and I remember being scared of the cat at night in my room. And the cat was our friend, you know what I mean? The cat loved us. I remember crying and being like, Mommy, get the cat out of my room. That movie disturbed me so bad. And the funny thing is, if I watch it now, I laugh. But that really screwed me up when I was a kid, the Pet Sematary. New World Muscle, Keith, my bro. Have a good weekend. The only snow in Cali right now is the ash and the chemtrails. Oh boy. Henry County, 30 minutes north of Atlanta. I was actually locked up with a bunch of guys from Henry County. Yeah, so the video will be out Monday. I got to get a good ab video in for you guys too, because I don't want you guys to slack on that stuff either. But we got to get a video of Chris on the scale. Make sure he's gaining weight. He says he's eating more. He does look bigger. Got to get his ass over 200 pounds. Gotta. Billy, on the other hand, is looking monstrous. Monstrous, so. All right, guys. I appreciate you doing this with me. Be safe in the snow if you're driving around out there. Be careful. If you're out in California, God bless you guys. Sorry about all the fires. It's sad to see. But yeah, he's definitely growing, Nathan. I'll be back Monday fresh. I'm gonna get a little physical therapy work myself today, baby. Woo. It's a good session. I appreciate you guys doing this. And that's gonna be a wrap. All right, guys. I love you all. God bless you guys. Peace out, bye.